Welcome to week 9 of Lead Dad Life with Skip Cherryholmes. We're following Skip for an entire year of his Lead Dad journey. This is episode 2. We're quite excited. I'm your host, Paul Sullivan, founder of the Company of Dads, and we're going to hop right into it with the first of the 5 questions we ask him each and every month. Skip, you ready?
I'm ready. Ready. Thank you, Paul.
All right. What's the best part, Ben, of the past month?
Past month. Okay, so I think the best part and kind of that realization of okay, I'm taking this step was uh we packed the whole family up and took a short vacation down to Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And the reason why that was so prominent to me is because this has been a great big transition time for me with all of the changing jobs and figuring out how to adjust with my family and everybody's schedules and everything, just trying to make sure that things go as smoothly as possible. And there have been a few bumps in the road. But it's also been very mentally laborious. From the moment I made the decision to start the process, every step of the process has been actively absorbing my energy. And then on top of that, I've also been working in other areas and job searching and all that kind of stuff. So when my wife and I have an anniversary at the end of May, and we were talking about what we thought we wanted to do because we knew we kind of needed a break, but it's like, well, what do you want to do? And after some serious talk and thought about it, we decided we would rather stall for a little bit and do something as a family and really take the whole family away and get them out of the element and just cut loose for a little bit and kind of hit that mental reset button. And that's exactly what we did. We went down there to Disney World and played around for about 5 days, and I it's what I needed. I needed to be a little kid for a while. I needed to be with my kids and do fun things and be with my wife and just kind of seeing the whole relief factor and the mental and everything just kind of settle a little bit. And then I think because we did like 2 days at the resort, one day at the park, and then a day off, and then another day at the park. And the day off in between was the moment where Stephanie and I were kind of talking and looking at each other and saying, I feel motivated now. I feel inspired now. I feel like everything we've kind of hit that milestone where everything that we were trying to get to is behind us, and now it's time to move forward. And that's when I knew that it was the right decision to make, and it was so much fun, full of memories. And it was my daughter Adeline's birthday at the time, Wednesday, so we had like a special dinner for her and all of this fun stuff planned at the parks to kind of celebrate anniversary, birthday, everything else. And it was so much fun. It really was.
What's been the worst part of the past month of your lead dad journey?
Well, it's it's kind of interesting. There hasn't been a whole lot of bad. I mean, there's a lot of different challenges that come along, and a lot of those are steeped in some of the work stuff that I'm still kind of navigating around. I've been doing a lot of different marketing stuff, people, and I've developing more of a structure to my business and actually trying to create something that I can build on. And that, while I have a lot of experience in some of those areas, I've this is me and my wife doing it on our own as opposed to having other voices involved and other bodies involved and all of this other stuff. We're kind of starting from square one and trying to build up. And and there's a lot of promise and a lot of traction, but it's a lot of active work. And as I said, the process of kind of phasing out all of the music stuff that I was doing so already so exhausting because you have contracts and you have business stuff you have to deal with. You have, those final pieces that you really have to put on a shelf, and then you've got the withdraws and the anticipation for things that aren't really happening because you've just done them for so long, and then you're also trying to build something else in the process. And so um, I wouldn't necessarily say that there was a whole lot of bad. There were some moments when I think I was just really fried. Uh, I I really have had to take my time and be patient with myself on a lot of things because it's a new concept to me, and I'm out really kind of tie free when it comes to the rest of the world. Uh, and that's both exciting and a little bit scary. And so I'm excited to continue. And again, that vacation, I really feel like hit the reset button on a lot of things. But um, it's something that I have to be mentally focused for every single day, and sometimes that can push me a little bit to a point of just short tempered maybe, um, and just needing to constantly make that call for patience on myself and ask for it from my family too. I'm not too proud to ask, but you have to ask because you're actively trying to do something about it, and that's where I'm at.
What's your best lead dad moment been in the past, past 5, 6 weeks? The thing that that really sticks out that you really remember.
I've had a few kind of great lead dad moments, and the Disney World thing was a great experience for the whole family. But when it comes to actual dad moments, and dads know, you feel the defeats more than you feel the successes sometimes, more frequently, but you feel the successes more heavily when they happen, when you recognize them. You actually like, oh wow, I had a breakthrough here, or I was able to do this, that, and the other thing. Um, my I think one of my best lead dad moments was when I think it was back at the kind of the end of May. My church had a father daughter dance that they did, and it was really sweet. It was like a ball, but it was all dads and all daughters, and they a my little girl was just all about me. I mean, I'm always all about her, but she was there. She was all about dad, and we danced and played games and did all this stuff. And then she they were doing, what's the song? Uh, with Cinderella. I can't remember the name of the song, but whatever song it was, we were dancing and she fell asleep while I was holding her dancing. And like just that overwhelming wash of knowing that I was that comfort for her, and I was that, just that, she was gripped onto me, and that mixed with just the whole, ambiance of the evening and everything. I was like, I was literally born to be a dad. And that was just like that moment of, you know, okay, I know I have a lot of question marks with all of these changes I've made, but this is proof to me that I've made the right call. Because in years past, that would have been a phone call or a FaceTime call from mom, hey, they're doing this thing. I'm going to take her because other girls are going to be there. Or, or I can't take her because you're not here. It's a dad thing. I just was so happy and content with the realization in the moment that, yeah, okay, this is completely worth it. This is why I got off the road to do all this kind of stuff. And then it takes a little bit of a different shape when it comes to my son. He's older, he's 5.5, and he's all about learning, all about the knowledge, and all about all about the boundaries, and trying to figure out where those boundaries are. And you have those times when you need to draw his attention or get him to listen certain things. And that's been kind of where he's at, is he's wanting to see where his limits are. And I understand that that's the process that kids go through. But the other day, we he brought something in. We went grocery shopping, and he brought something in from the car, and he asked me where to put it, and I told him to put it somewhere, and he didn't put it there. He put it somewhere completely different. And then he just stopped himself in the pantry, and he said, "Well, wait, you told me to put it here." And so he picks it up and he puts it where I told him to put it. And it wasn't, I mean, that may seem trivial, but to me, it was just like, wow, I've made a breakthrough in helping him understand to listen when he's told to do something. And because I see that he has the desire to, but he also has the desire to see where he can push it. And um and I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to see those moments, because they, like I said, the as a father, you take the hits more frequently than you take the wins. But when the wins happen, if you stop and recognize them, it feels amazing. It's a lot bigger than you, and it's worth it. I love it.
What's been your most challenging lead dad moment since we last spoke?
I think that the challenging may play more in also into the what's been the worst, and a lot of that is, again, I feel like we talked about this on the last one, but now I feel like it's picked up in velocity. But it's understanding that this household has for years operated on a rhythm of me being here infrequently, and a lot of a lot of um, things have been structured around me not, possibly, either I could or could not be able to be a part of it, or could or could not be able to fix it, could or could not be able to do various things, and learning how to work myself into that process that's been established primarily because I've just always been gone. Um, and that, to me, you know, learning the different quirks of my children, especially uh, my son. I've always considered myself to be a very present father, even when I've been gone. And I don't believe that I would have made the decision to come off the road if I hadn't had the presence of mind to do so. But there's some things that I just I'm still learning about him, about his personality, about different stuff. And my nature, as many fathers' nature, I'm sure, is to automatically want to fix, want to be the hero, want to take care of anything that needs to be taken care of. And when you haven't been the one to take care of those things on a consistent basis, you have to learn how you fit in. And I know in time that will only get better. It'll only get stronger, and I will learn that rhythm. But it's been a challenge to to navigate that, because part of my response has been, okay, well, if I'm still developing in this area, then what I need to do is overcompensate in the area of, let's say, spending more time with him and doing more activities with him. And then when it comes to, okay, well, dad's got to work. Well, I don't want to continuously shut him down through certain pockets of the day. It's part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I, learning how to communicate with him that there are these different new boundaries that he's not used to. Adeline is not as much. She hadn't been around as long as he has, but he's used to, okay, dad goes out on the road for 4 or 5 days. He comes home. He could be home for 3 or 4 days, but he ain't got anything else going on that is going to hold him up from us playing or us, playing, doing this, that, and the other thing. Well, now I'm home, but I have certain boundaries that I have to set because I have things that I have to accomplish. And trying to communicate that with him while also not wanting to, just constantly shut him down, and realizing that there's a certain amount of his life that I have to work myself into. That, I would say, is probably where I've seen the biggest challenges when it comes to the father side of things. But it's something that when I wake up in the morning, in in the long list of things that I want to learn and want to have my eyes open to and want to be sensitive to, that's right in there every day. I wake up with the purpose of, okay, uh, I have to be attentive in this area. I have to be patient in this area. I have to make sure that I'm not overbearing in these areas, and keep my ears open, keep my mouth shut, listen, learn, and respond appropriately. And so, I mean, it's a new venture, and it's weird to say that because, on the other hand, Stephanie and I have just celebrated our 12th anniversary. We've got 2 kids, and obviously I'm still here. So it's not like I don't know what I'm doing, but this is a different. It's the light side of the moon versus the dark side of the moon. It's like, yeah, it's still the moon, but there's this another side of, you know that you have to learn how to navigate. So yeah, it's a challenge, but it's like I always say, I welcome challenges. Without challenges, there's no growth.
Any lessons learned over the past month in your lead dad journey?
Yeah, it's not smart to try to do a 16-hour day at Magic Kingdom with 2 kids. Oh my goodness. Um, so uh, I mean, I've got a more serious answer for that, but it's funny because Stephanie and I, we've been going to Disney World for since early years of our marriage, and even like, I think we did a really massive trip back in 2016, and it was like a week and a half long, and we had like 2 days at a couple of parks and all this, and we were like, wake up at the crack of dawn, be the first people at the bus stop, be the first people in the park, take all the pictures, be the last people to leave at like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, go back to the resort, rally, get back out there and do it. And it's just because we've always enjoyed it. And when her and I just went, just as a couple, after my son was born, we went in 2019 and had a it wasn't a very intense trip, but it was more, but it was just one kid. And then we went a couple of times over 2020 and 2021 without him or my daughter, which had just been born. I think she was just born in June of 2021. And it was just the two of us. And we were able to kind of do a little bit of that, get up and go at it and all this other stuff. And so when we went this last week, and it's like, okay, park opens at 8, bus is going to run at 7, got to be at the bus stop at 6:30. Yeah, try getting the kids up in a good mood at 6:30 in the morning. that part wasn't as bad because once they started seeing the buses and the castle and everything else, oh, they're so excited. And then about 11 o'clock in the morning, all the attitudes start to show. Oh my goodness. It's like, I'm hungry. It's hot. I'm tired. I'm thirsty. I'm bored. It's like, how can you be bored? But it was great though, because in spite of a few of those other things, there were, we did fit a lot of great memories in, and it was a good thing. But then you have the other side of it. I'm 33. Stephanie's, 32. And, when we were doing stuff, back years and years and years ago, we were in our early 20s and all that. And I'm not, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. But it's a different game when you've got kids. It's just different. You have so much that you're trying to do, and you're trying to have a good time. And we did have a good time, but there are moments when you're just like, who wants to watch my kids? Oh man, that is so much fun. But
That's when you try to get one of the princesses to step in and be like,
yes.
"Hello, Belle," "Hello," Yeah.
No, but yeah, on a comic side, that's definitely, we talked about it, like, yeah, next time let's leave a little bit more wiggle room to relax and not put pressure on ourselves to try to do this, that, and the other thing. Um, but on a more serious note, lessons that I've learned really since this whole process. Um, don't the thing that I'm learning, and I feel like is going to ring true for the rest of this whole process, is don't be afraid to believe in yourself enough to take a bold step, especially if it's for your family. I'm learning daily that even the hardest struggles you're going to go through, if it's founded in the right way and you take that bold step, you're willing to go through those struggles, because the outcome of those struggles and the landscape that lies ahead for myself and my family is much bigger than whatever little thing we might be dealing with at the time. But you have to be bold enough to take that step, to believe in yourself. You have to have a family that supports you and believes in you too. And I know one of my biggest fears in this process, when before I actually set things in motion, was knowing I have all the pieces in place as far as my family goes and as far as I go, and I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. But what if I'm not brave enough to actually make this move? Will I regret that years down the road? Will I look back at this moment and say, you know what, you knew you should have and you didn't? And the answer was always, yeah, I would regret that. And so as I've gone through this, I'm like, this is the greatest, most terrifying, most frustrating, most celebrating, most exciting part of my life is where I'm at right now. And I encourage anybody, again, especially if it's for the sake of your family, whatever it is, wherever it puts you, don't be afraid to take that step, to make that move, because you will never regret that.
Thank you for listening to episode 2 of Lead Dad Diaries with Skip Cherryholmes. You can check out episode 1 on our website, thecompanyofdads.com, and follow along on social media so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. Thank you for listening to the Company of Dads podcast. I also want to thank the people who make this podcast and everything else that we do at the Company of Dads possible. Helder Mira, who is our audio producer. Lindsay Decker, who handles all of our social media. Terry Brennan, who's helping us with the newsletter and audience acquisition. Emily Servin, who is our web maestro. And of course, Evan Roosevelt, who is working side by side with me in many of the things that we do here at the Company of Dads. It's a great team, and we're just trying to bring you the best in fatherhood. Remember, the one-stop shop for everything is our newsletter, The Dad. Sign up at thecompanyofdads.com/thedad. Thank you again for listening.